Oh, hello, and thank you so much for tuning in to America's Real Stimulus Package. I'm Ken Johnson, your host, and I just want to thank everybody for seeing me on the streets. You say you like the program. We got a dynamic show for you today. It's about the election, and a peculiar thing happened here in San Francisco at Joseph Lee Gym that we have our guests who want to tell you about what happened, and it kind of surprised me that this would happen in the black community in a black gym,
Mm.
Joseph Lee Gym.
Joseph
Anyway,
Lee Jim.
uh, my guest is our
Salah
Sala
and Jean.
and Jean, and they're going to tell you something that happened to them at the Hillary for president
Campaign. Bill
campaign.
Clinton.
Yeah, anyway,
Bill Clinton coming to Joseph Lee. However, he had not arrived at the time that this happened. And I'm going to,
go
I
ahead.
would love my
Please do.
archives represent first. I'm a woman of culture, Hebrew culture, and I know how to treat my people. And it's always our archives first. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I heard about the rally, I guess around 3:45, 4 o'clock, and I liked the Clintons, and I was surprised that they were coming to the Joseph Lee Gym. And so I went down. I was on my way to Wells Fargo, so I said maybe I'll stop by and see Bill Clinton. So we had to wait for a long time before he arrived. Um, After he arrived, I was really surprised because I saw so many white people. I didn't see very many black people at all. So I'm not sure how effective they were in getting the message out
Right.
to the black community.
Let me just, folks, the Joseph Lee Gym is in Hunters Point in San Francisco, a predominantly black area, which is the gym is always full of black people.
Full of blacks.
Always.
Caucasian
It's
people do
always,
not come
they
there.
don't even come.
It's a black
So
recreation
this
center.
was a big surprise
Very big surprise.
to come in there, and it's full of Caucasians. Anyway, go ahead.
Which is in the 94124 zip code. So while sitting there, standing there, I noticed that there was a section of the bleachers that was blocked off, and one section was had the SEIU people, SEIU people for Hillary,
Okay.
and then they had this huge space that was totally vacant and roped off. So some black people older, and I'm older, but these people were probably, they appeared to be a little older than I am and a little more infirm. And they went to sit in that section, and they were told that they had to move. They couldn't sit there. So I looked and I said, wow, that doesn't seem right. You know, we have all these white people now in 94124 telling people who live in the 94124 that they can't sit in a particular area. So I called one of the, I guess, young, I don't know if he was staff or I don't know if he was a volunteer, but he was totally with the Hillary campaign. So I called him over, and I had pulled a chair from in the back and was sitting by the door. Because I just couldn't stand. I'd had a knee surgery,
Right,
and,
absolutely.
and I could not stand, so I took a chair, folding chair. So I asked, I said, well, why can't those people sit over there? And he says, we have ADA seating. And I said, you have ADA seating for all of these people? And he says, no, and he walked away. So I know he didn't have ADA seating for all those people because I certainly would have qualified for an ADA seat.
Right.
So that was very strange to me to see these white people in 94124 that I had never seen before, and it was predominantly white. And they were just telling people, they came in and just started telling people what to do. Now, my colleague here had some issues with the SFPD. I did not have those issues with the SFPD. they were very, when I pulled up, and I do have a handicap placard, and I was pulling into a handicap parking,
Yes.
and they had it. I couldn't park there, but he was very nice, and he said, "You cannot park here
Right,
because,
right.
we have the president coming."
Absolutely right.
And so I know that there were security measures that had to be taken.
Of course.
And so I looked at that, and it really, really left a really bad taste in my mouth that this was happening in
Right,
94124.
right, in the black community.
And
right.
then I walk out, and then I run into you, and you're out there, and I looked at you, and you had your sign, and I looked at your eyes, and I mean, my heart actually hurt looking at you. So I came over to you, and
Sure
I said,
did.
"Didn't I meet you a few months ago at the NAACP
Yes, that's
meeting?"
right.
And you said yes.
Yes.
And, it just hurt me because I could see the pain in your eyes. And I have one child of my own, and I can't imagine
Oh,
my child leaving here before I do
Being murdered.
and being murdered on top of it. So when I saw you, it was like I was totally, I can't even imagine the pain that you're feeling. And I think I told you that.
Yes, you did.
So, but that was my experience. I think that it could have been handled a little differently.
a lot differently.
Yes, I think so. And so maybe the next time that these people decide, and I have absolutely nothing against the Clintons, but I think the next time that they venture into a black area, that they should be a lot more respectful and a lot more considerate. And these were older people.
Yes,
that
they were.
They told that they could not sit there.
Yes,
so,
they were. They told me it was VIP.
So
VIP.
but there was nobody sitting there. It was totally
Just
empty.
VIP, nothing but Caucasians and Asians, and said this was VIP. And how it happened with me, my experience is I said VIP in the black community center where all these blacks are standing up and disabled individuals, and all these seats are empty, and you're going to come into this black community and tell us that this is VIP. So all these Caucasians are VIP, and we're standing up, which it was no problem with me, However, it was others that, as what Jean experienced,
right.
she has knee problems, and they told her, you're not allowed here. But the issue was I didn't focus on that because I met President Clinton years ago when he was in office. And he sent from the White House a postcard because I had gave him a CD of my jazz band because I had my television show, live all over the San Francisco
Right,
area,
right,
the
right,
Real
right.
Live Mermaid show.
Right.
And I had my own personal band. And so I gave, Bill Clinton, former President Clinton is into jazz. And he sent me a postcard when I had gave him the CD of my band. And he was really thankful and appreciative and told me to continue my community work, So I came and I wrote, my girlfriend has a book that she wrote with my Hebrew mother who raised me, and it's called A Garden Angel Who Had a Loud Voice. And so I wrote on this flyer of hers and of her son, hard hitter Kareem Mayfield, professional boxer, and how well this Hebrew mother have raised beautiful boys and have wrote a book as a black woman. And so we've been raised to have the highest self-glory and respect and have esteem as I do. And I know when something is not right, and I don't suffer from an inferiority complex being raised as a Hebrew mother. So I wrote on this flyer to give to President Clinton to ask Hilary, what would she do concerning dealing with the homicides and the unsolved homicides with our black boys being murdered in San Francisco and all over the country, and also will she assist with dealing with reparations? And so when I got there, me and my associate, she's my friend and also business associate, she, Queen Vanessa, Malia Coins, walks up to us, and she's putting on a beautiful show for Youngblood, Park and Rec for the children on this Friday at what time? 3:30 at Youngblood, and she's been trying to contact Malia Coins for days to see if she can bring donations for these young boys, trying to give them something to do so they won't be killing each other out on the streets. And I admired this young sister for fighting for our children. And so Queen Vanessa approached Malia and said, why haven't you responded to my email And she said that she couldn't assist. She doesn't have enough time and whatever her reasons for not responding. And
This is Supervisor
Malia Coins, yeah. So she's not sitting. I don't know what the issue is, but Queen Vanessa just asked her a question. I'm up here working with these young boys, and you haven't responded. I have invited you to come, and that was the dialogue. And so Malia Coins said she had to use the restroom, and I understood that. So when she was talking to her briefly, I said, Malia Coins, do you know when the grand opening of the Opera House is going to take place? And she screamed out, I got to go to the bathroom.
Oh.
And walked away. And I didn't say anything, but Queen Vanessa did. She said, Sala, I do not like the way that woman is talking to you. I don't like the way. And the reason I asked is because I did receive a phone call from Malia Coyne saying, Sala, I know you do Harriet Tubman, the one-woman show, and maybe you can do it when the grand opening for the Opera House comes. She called me personally 2 months ago, and she said, because I know that Harriet Tubman they end up putting her on the $20 bill, and I thought that was so wonderful, So I'm thinking, okay, wow. Me and Malia Clorens is looking out for a black person. Wow, and I'm thinking, but the way she responded, I'm going to the bathroom, and then she came back and said, I don't know when the grand opening is, and walked away. And so I said, oh, my goodness, this woman is so rude. And I have been trying to have mercy. Everybody been saying, Sala, you've been trying to work with these political officials.
Wait. Are you talking about
Supervisor Malia Coins in District 10. And so it was like, okay, we got to do something, because what took place there at Joseph Lee was unacceptable. A woman was speaking, Caucasian woman, after London Breed spoke and another board of supervisors spoke. Then a Caucasian woman, a white woman, got up there to speak. And Hilary, she's going to, provide all this. And one, Sheila Brooks, I didn't know, I never heard of her. It was a black mother. And Sheila Brooks screamed out, what about our boys being murdered on the streets? She just asked the question. So I said to myself, I'm not the only one here for that. I'm glad to hear that. And I didn't say anything. However, when the white woman said, and Hilary is fighting for our children to go to college. And when she said that, I said, well, what about the boys who haven't made it to college that are being murdered? And she paused, and she didn't respond, and she did this to avoid the question. Hilary, 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 and had everyone to start saying, Hilary, 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 so no one would pay attention to the question. I waited, and then I said, my son's name was Yolani, so that's my son's name, who was murdered January the 9th, the quadruple homicide. So I said, Yolani, 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 4 times. And then I said, that was my son who was murdered January the 9th. And the white woman said, she put her hands on her heart and said, oh, I understand why you're speaking out. So she felt my pain. She did this. 2 minutes later, someone taps me on the shoulder and says, you have to go. I said, excuse me? You have to go. Then a CNN reporter comes and says, Miss, with the microphone, what was the question that you just asked? And I said, what are you going to do about the homicides in the black community? And I'm here to ask also, would they help with reparations? I wanted to ask that question. And she said, what is your name? I don't know if it's going to go on, but I'm from CNN. Then a black police officer came. They have asked you, you have to go. I said, what have I done? I've only asked the question. They got on their dispatcher, and they began to call all the other police. Now, I wasn't going to move up out of my community. They would have had to drag me out. I had on my royal crown, the Hebrew skull cap. I would not be embarrassed in my Hebrew cultural community. So I stayed calm. Lynn Westry, who goes to all the homicide sites, she came over to me and she said, Sala, come with me. They want to put you out, but we are not going to allow it. You are only speaking about the homicides. She took me to the side and told me to stand over there by the bleachers where they had the VIP. Stand right here. Next thing you know, all these police officers come. They say, let's go outside. Lynn Westry go, and that's the only reason I went out. When I went outside, 3 officers surround me, told me I couldn't go in. They literally put me out. The captain of BayView said that this is a private event and they have every right to put you out. You didn't do anything and we feel you didn't do anything, but they have the power to put you out. One officer said, Sala, we know you, but they don't. I said, well, introduce me to the leader of the Democratic Club who's putting on this event, and I would tell them what I said. The captain acted like he was going in to help. Didn't do nothing for me. They started grabbing me by my body so I wouldn't go and getting physical. You cannot go. I went all the way around to then they kicked Sheila Brooks out, the other mother who had asked the question, what about the murdering on the street of our boys? This woman had just had surgery. She had a neck brace on, and you can tell she was hurting bad. Them white folks put that black woman out. Do you understand me? Do you understand what I'm telling you? They came over to BayView Hunters Point and put me and another black mother out for asking the question, what about these murderers of our black children? Malia Coins, we coming!
Well, I didn't know your colleague here.
Malia Coins, we coming your way. What happened to me and that black mother? You gonna reap what you sow.
Yeah, see, we as a community, we can't stand for this kind of stuff. We have to stand our grounds. We got people, those people that are watching. We can't allow the people to come into our community and treat us the way they treat us.
They took my banner of all those 4 boys that was murdered and threw it out and gave it to the police and threw me out.
Well, you know what you're saying, Mr. Johnson, I think it's Johnson, is I told your colleague, Salah's colleague, that I didn't know her either, but it was just so out of the ordinary. I just couldn't understand where all these people were coming from and giving orders.
Nothing but white folks, young white folks.
That was so weird to me. And they were
and a
young,
black Joseph Lee
whites,
that they don't come in.
A black
and put white people there and set us down and told us I felt like a slave, they said.
So it was a little
I felt like
unsettling.
You could not drink from this water fountain. I felt like I was in the 60s when they were sicking dogs on us. I can't drink from this water fountain, the white side, but on the color side, that's what I felt yesterday on June 6th. I felt what our people went through in the civil rights fight that caused them to rise and to be sick by the dogs and to have the water formed on them just to fight for what was right. You will not take BayView from us. I will not allow it. As long as I'm in the land of the living and the death of my son, what you did to me, you will pay. Barbara, the white woman from Germany that's in the opera house, you got to go. Because let me tell you something. If we don't have a position, we will not rise. Hilary is not going to do nothing for us. Bill is not going to do nothing for us. None of these politicians is going to do anything for us. And that's what the Spirit wanted to show me. I had my girlfriends I didn't come to cause them no harm. I came to bring this to them. Right here. This is the proof. This is my girlfriend's, right here. Local author Yolanda Banks shares her book about one of the life's golden rules. She have her beautiful daughter. She wrote a book. I was very pleased, and I wanted to support that. And the guardian angel who had a loud voice, and then her son who was raised in Fillmore where my boys were murdered. I wanted to show how he got out. And we can present this, how we did it. Being raised Hebrew to have worth, writing books, authors, professional. I wanted to show them that that's who I would bring to the White House. I said, I'm Salah Hakuya. And I said, I'm asking about dealing with the homicides and the unsolved homicides. I gave them my address, and so they'll know how to find me. I said, I'm Hebrews for Yahweh Elohim, and I put also, we want to deal with reparations. I said, this is my telephone number, and my son named Yalani Chinya Marinde, murdered January the 9th. I tried to get this message, and they put me out.
Yeah, you brought a solution to this problem.
I brought it, and they put me out.
Yeah. See? I mean, this is folks.
Wasn't violent.
Yeah.
I was calm. No one even knew what was going on.
You brought a solution to this situation, this horrible situation.
In a black community.
In the black community.
And them white folks treated us like we were dirt. Yeah. Put that Sheila Brooks with a neck brace on. She was out of it because her son was murdered. She was crying for help, and they put her in a police car.
Oh, man.
Like she committed a crime.
Yeah. Well, our time is about to run out. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in.
And I got one more thing I have to say. My friend asked. My friend Yolanda Banks Reed is taking on a case. Her son was brutally tased in Daly City because of her culture. She was speaking another language. They thought she was speaking Arabic and tried to say that she was putting a speaking erroneous on them and trying to do something wrong by speaking in Arabic, and she speak Yiddish. And she went to represent herself because we don't have any attorneys representing us. And I met Jean at the NAACP to ask for help to prepare for a class action lawsuit because we have no attorneys. And that's how I met her. And Yolanda Banks Reed, Charlene Tinder, who was tased from coming home for prayer and beaten, Yolanda Banks took the case and went to San Francisco court, and the judge denied her to amend her document that she was fighting for cultural rights, for cultural Hebrew cultural rights, religious rights that they say, and she could have won the case, and the judge denied her rights. So I'm saying, I'm putting that out there to say that we now have to fight for ourselves. We now have to come together, black folks, and do what we need to do. We can't continue to talk. We have to take BayView back because the Fillmore was taken, and we have nothing left.
Okay, we're out of time. But folks, everybody, we need to come together and start doing something about what's the treatment that we're under. It seems like everybody, we're not standing up. Everything is happening to us, and we ain't really fighting to stop it. Okay, thank you for tuning in. Good night. Thank you for coming in.